Hello and welcome back. I am Dr. Anshu coming back with today's tutorial. So let's have a recap of today's editorial. Must check out the yesterday's videos if you haven't watched. I have updated all the playlist of January and Feb of current affairs, just covering every important editorials and the topics that is related to the exam point of view in detail way and also in the brief. So must go and check out. So let's have a recap of today's editorial. Front page covering the US deport Indians as a Trump tightens immigration rules, voting for all 70 seats in Delhi today. So here was the US second page covering related to the first article. Third article is about the China hits back US with good tariff Google investigations and the bird eye view. Will resolve Governor Tamil Nadu government tussle in the spirit of constitution, says SC. Fifth one is about the Gujarat government panels to assess the need for UCC opposition to call a diversionary move and budget allocation for cotton sufficient, says farmer and activist. These all are related to state news. Seventh one is editorial about yesterday editorial. I found it important, so I added it tomorrow. I added it today. Some wins behind the sale of wind shipping industry. Eighth one is covering Rwanda-backed M23 rebels truce in Congo East. One more editorial is US WHO exit, a chance to reshape global health. So let's start with the front page. So the US deports Indians as a Trump tightens immigration rules. Here the US military aircraft takes off 200 people's Indian aside and said to be have confirmed nationality of all individuals before they were put on plane. So here before the Prime Minister Narendra Modi expected to visit US, the Donald Trump started the process of deporting illegal Indian immigrants. Source confirmed a wide-bodied military aircraft took from US on Tuesday morning. Here the 200 Indian nationalists, 200 Indian nationals, official sources here that US authorities were ahead with deportations. So it is sending the back illegal Indian immigrants from America and these illegal, and there is the United, and there is a presence of at least 18,000 Indian national US, 1,000 US who were viewed as illegal immigrants by the Trump administration, and these send a clear message: illegal migration is not worth the risk, US embassy spokesperson said. So here is the just have a look about the how bigger Thai neighbor policies can make a global trend come to standstill. But just let me cover this. Voting the 70 seats in Delhi today. So here the 1.56 crore voters will be seal the fate of candidate and 70 assembly constituencies beginning from 7 a.m. at 1,376 polling stations and at 2,696 locations, and there are 699 candidates in fray with Aam Aadmi Party and 70 candidates each. BJP had fielded 68 candidates and JDU and LHP. So the male candidate voter is 83 lakh 76 173, female 72 36 560, third gender is 1267, person with disability 79,885, overseas 695, 85 plus years voters were 1 lakh 100 plus 783, polling stations are 766 and polling location is 2696. So just have a look about the today's elections. So what is here? The neighbor make a global trade come to standstill. Let me just open that news. So here the origin of term is attributed to Scottish economics. In The Wealth of Nation, he coined the criticized nationalist of his time who advocate the protectionist policies such as imposition of tariffs and other forms. Mr. Smith, on the other hand, believed that free trade in long run enriched all the nation engaged in such trade. So, how the supporters of beggar thy neighbor policies argue that these policies help to boost a country's domestic economy by important industries and protecting the jobs. They usually point out that countries need to protect certain industries due to national security reason and also in order to help to protect their nascent development stages. So higher export and lower imports. So higher export and lower imports are expected to lead a trade surplus. Trade surplus and expected to lead a good for domestic economy. So opposing voices is their high neighbor policies can make all countries poorer, particularly when the countries begin to retaliate against each other by tit-for-tat tariffs and currency devaluations. So such for tit-for-tat policies implemented mostly notably during the interim period of two major world wars. Retaliatory tariffs and competitive currency devaluations during period led to significant drop in global trade and investment. In fact, economic historians consider protectionist policies to be major reason behind the Great Depression. Here the currencies to help exporters and to achieve trade surplus with other major economies such as USA. So the Donald Trump presidency has led a renewed fears that we could see a reason for tit-for-tat economic policies that cause the global trade to be standstill. Chinese imports were expected to help Americans producer who may now likely face a lesser competition from Chinese firms. So the central bank depreciated the exchange value of its currency by flooding the forex market with currency and now able to purchase a fewer domestic goods. So the China hits by tariff imposed by United States. Sorry for the background noises. So the Chinese imports expected to American producer how may now likely face lesser competition from Chinese firms. So the critics beggar thy neighbors policies argue that countries should not retaliate when foreign country imposes the tariffs on trade barriers. China hit by tariff imposed and imposing retaliatory tariffs against US good will make worse for China because Chinese consumer will then have to pay more goods and services imported from US retaliatory tariffs and can thus turn out to be double whammy for China. So the Chinese central bank to avoid competition devaluation because US federal is actually subsidizing the Chinese consumers. So moving to the next article is about I view here is our chief guest, foreign chief guest, Bhutan King Jimge Khesar Namangia Wangchuk feeding the migratory samples at Mahakumbh in Prayagraj, and our Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath visited at Mahakumbh. China hits back US with a good tariff global message. Basically, this article is related to the previous that I previously discussed here. The pages are misinterpreted. So I added in a wrong way. I think it should be added in a 3 and not in second. So just that is related in a thorough detail I have already discussed here, like how they are doing, just imposing their tariffs on each other. The Beijing, the unveiled, there is a 50% imports of coal and liquefied natural gas from the US, while the crude oil, agriculture, machinery bigged up to 10% duties. So the US is So the China is the major market for US energy export. According to Beijing Custom Data Report, oil, coal, LNG totaled $7 billion last year. So this is a unilateral hike. Like Beijing said, measures were responses to the unilateral tariff hike by Washington. US decisions that seriously violates the WTO rules, and there is a disturbed solve its own problem. Alongside a tariff, China announced probe into US tank giant Google and group PVH Corp. So the US Trump said, Mr. Tariffs aimed at punished countries for falling the halt now to the drugs into US, and he said Monday planned a call for Chinese counterpart Jinping for next 24 hours. So yeah, the state news about will the resolve Governor Tamil Nadu government tussle in the spirit of the constitution, says SC. Here's the Tamil Nadu that is covering through the three states, Kerala, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, and the Puducherry. So their High Court comes under, Puducherry High Court comes under Madras, Tamil Nadu, and says Karaikal, Puducherry here. So here about the conflict that is ongoing between the governor and the CM, that how he don't passes any bill and just kept resolving, and this creates a tussle between the both. Now the Supreme Court take the Supreme Court make the decision on it. Here is the Tamil Nadu government and Governor R.N. Ravi, the spirit of constitution and interest for one, the scheduled court hearing on Feb 6. So the MK is telling government over a myriad issues like ranging for delay in giving assent to key bills, on higher education issues, government constitutions and constitution of such committees, VCS. He was referring to the ring of 10 enacted bills for largely concerning higher education president that and concerning the higher to the president on November 18, 2000. It's a long time that he kept the bill. The president has subsequently assented and rejected 7 out of them. Assented to 1 bill, rejected 7, and not considered maintaining the 2 proposed laws. So here Article 200 said governor has 3 options. When the bill is referred to assent by one legislature, she must give assent. Second is withhold, and third is to reserve of bill. So in the case of the assent withheld, money bill proposed law must be returned to the state legislature as soon as possible and commence. If the bill is reiterated by legislature, governor has no option but to grant the assent. So moving to the next, the Gujarat government forms a panel to assess the need of UCC. Opposition call it diversionary move. So BJP government in Gujarat on Tuesday had committee head, a retired Supreme Court, assess the need for uniform civil code in state to draft the bill for same. So the Gujarat is going to implement the uniform civil code in the state, also draft the bill for same. So the upcoming body posed, the government claimed the rights of tribal communities will be protected if the UCC is implemented. The 5 members committee headed by the Rajna Desai will submit 45 days of report, and which decision is about implementation of UCC will be taken, CM Bhupendra Patel told reporters. Other members of committee are retired IS officer CL Meena, Advocate RC Khodekar, Vice Chancellor Veer Narmad South Gujarat University Dakeshwar Singh, and social worker Geeta Saroil. So here the Mr. Sroff and Mr. Thar said the government approach is too sensitive and shows the committee for closing the loopholes in the UCC will hit tribal life. So there is 14% tribals, 40% tribals, and UCC will affect the culture, custom, religious right, marriage, system of tribal society. Aam Aadmi Party state, the Isuddin Gadvi said, BJP raises a UCC whenever there is an election. So the budget allocation is 500 crore for cotton. Insufficient, says farmer activists. So the Nirmala Sitharaman allocated 500 crore for the national cotton Technology Mission Union budget for 2025, and the cotton yielding here is the 461 kg per hectare in 2024, declining 8% in 502 kg 2014-15. So according to the GH Varle Senior Technologies based in Maharashtra, current demand for cotton from textile sector is 350 lakh bales, but the current production is 300 lakh bales. So farmer and expert blame the lack of newer seeds and innovative methods of farming the crop, lower productivity. The same method since independence, says the cotton farmer. Cotton farmer India, the varieties are Bole Guard 2 variety. Bole Guard 2 variety, cotton for 2 decades, and damage is about 30 to 40% crop. So there is the use of Bole Guard 3 variety. So mechanized farming, Mr. Thakre farms cotton, soybean, red gram on 67 acre farm. Density planting system. He, however, maintains the government needs to allocate more than current 500 crore to bring this method, and there is 90% plus cotton growers avail themselves even for MSP declared by central government. So the editorial is the US WHO exit, a chance to reshape a global health. So I've already tomorrow I told through the charts, and there is a editorial. Today there is an editorial about it. At how the US WHO exit, a chance to reshape a global health. So the writer is medical doctor and specialist in global health for 17 years, and experience in the United Nations system, including the WHO and UNICEF. So the January 20, the United States government issued an executive order to withdraw from membership of WHO. So this raised the apprehension that reduced the funding of WHO that would impact the functionality and of organization. However, as executive decision, US government has already been made it time to reflect some fundamental question. Why a single country exit from WHO is causing so much concern? How can a US exit from WHO can convert it into an opportunity to create a stronger WHO? Why there is a need of increasingly greater role of countries in Asia and Africa in global health? So the funding integrates. Like US withdrawal on WHO funding, we need to understand WHO is a funding system. There are two broad categories of funding sources. First is access by contribution, or AC. Access contribution, a fixed amount each WHO member must pay annually, a sort of membership fee. This is what a US president assessed contributions, that is AC. So this is what US president he has argued being disproportionately high, and cited as a 4 reasons for US decision regarding its withdrawal. The assets contribution ensure the funding WHO uses to pay salaries of regular staff, both technical and administrative, and maintain a day-to-day functioning. This is minimum resources the organization need to ensure a community of operation. The other funding pool is from voluntary contribution VC, which comes from large of donor agency, and additional contribution from WHO member state. VCs are broadly for projects time-bound activities. WHO uses VC funds. It's voluntary contribution fund. However, the problem with the VC fund is that these names suggest voluntary, always time-bound. Always time-bound and linked to the specific activities, and thus unpredictable. Like example, writer has given, like many member states donors provide funds for polio elimination, patient safety, primary health care, antimicrobial resistant related work, non-transferable to other activities. So WHO funding US would additionally impact the WHO funding and the US government funds for WHO. Another argument is like US withdrawal, which has been used frequently for some other to criticize WHO, is that organization is highly bureaucratic, acts slow, in need of urgent reform. So why institution is fail? Like in their books, Why Nation Fail, The Origin of Power and Prosperity and Poverty, Robinson, they conferred Nobel Prize in Economics, hypothesize inter alia that nations thrive upon foundations. Expanding the analogy level, at global level, global health, last few decades, the fire of collaboration has been damaged. US exit from WHO likelihood, the country alliance like G7, G20, and other supporting the fund WHO fuel. So 75 year, it is a moral imperative for all. Countries such as India, Brazil, South Africa, Thailand, Egypt are support of WHO in specific United Nations in general. So decision to recall US government subsequent apprehension that such step would be ongoing programs reflect how global health agencies are too little dependent on subject expert originating from single select few countries. So the global south must act. Asia and Africa must team up supplements WHO funding gap after US exits. BRIC could be such a platforms. BRICS could be such platform such as India, Ethiopia, Ghana, and others. Not in global south invest in training expert but also in global health. For example, India have trained expert conditions affect Africa disease which are not prevalent in our country. The era of providing only financial support to any country is behind us. It is a time for full technical expertise in health. Third, the countries in the global south should set up a few premier institutions at country regional level through the inter-country collaboration, trained experts. And fourth one is that hearing the reforms in WHO for a long time. One step which we considered urgently is to trim the staffs Cairo, Manila or New Delhi. This would reduce the WHO headquarters, regional at the Congo, Cairo, Manila, New Delhi. This will reduce the headquarter operational cost, and this might be a problem in terms of air connectivity. And is very likely to the 4 years later, some of time future, there is a new US president. US would rejoin WHO. However, till then, US withdrawal should be explored as opportunity for public health. The writer is just saying in the positive way that withdrawal can be let's have a optimistic thing about withdrawal of US in WHO. Global South countries have an opportunity to improve their conditions, leading pull together, doing work together, reshaping the global health agenda, collaborative actions to reshape the global health. So and expertise from one handful high income countries must be truly joined to venture the entire world led by Global South. Global South, that are countries that are in developing stage. So moving to the next article is the some winds behind the sail, the wind India's shipping industry. Here I'm just telling about the main pointers that I already marked here. Like there was a discussion about the Sagarmala project. Sagarmala project, which as on September 2024 has outline of 839 projects requiring investment of 5.8 lakh crore by 2035. India's economy has seen a GDP rising from 153 trillion to 272 trillion in 2023. So there is a 40% increase in a growing of CAGR of 700% despite. So the $5 trillion in 27 and 7 trillion 2030. During this period, India EXIM trade has also grown 66 billion in 2060 to 160 billion in 2022. Cumulative increase of 77%. So the industry continues face stagnations, like cumulative growth is 40.26, an annual increase in just 2.58%. In contrast, the number of vessels handled at these ports declined 5.93%, 21,655 vessels in 60-70. So the annual growth is 2.4%. Same period, gross tonnage has grown from 11,547 576 GT. So there is a 17.44% annual average growth of 2.5%. So multiple challenges such as in shipbuilding, India faces multiple challenges hindering the competitiveness, lack of capital, high borrowing costs, short loan tenures, rigid collateral requirements. So the ship register tax in heaven, flag of convenience, benefit from easier access, sorry, lower borrowing contains, lenient regulatory standard, concealed ownership. So what is the two recommendations of MDF, Maritime Development Fund, is that granting infrastructure status to ship incorporated in Maritime India Vision 2030, removal of 5% IGST, capital cost, and exemption from Indian seafarer from TDS requirements. There is a 10-year 25,000 crore MDF infrastructure status for large vessels, shipbuilding spares equipments, and however the MDF will only 49% to the remainder. So the aging of Indian ship fleet requires the urgent replacement of greenhouse emission reduction in the lower interest and repayments. The glaring tax disparities is 5% GST on purchases price. Indian shipping must deduct the tax TDS. So the budget 25 is promising step but not become another major half in the name of shipping reforms. Industry need a decisive action, not just incremental progress. So the moving to the last news about the Rwanda-backed M23 rebels announced the truce in Congo East. So the M23 and Rwanda troop seized the Goma, the provincial capital of mineral-rich North Kivu. Fighting has stopped in city, but clashes have spread in neighboring province of South Kivu, raising the fear of M23 advanced capital Bukavu. And the Bukavu on the other locality, despite of M23, has marched to the Congolese capital Kinshasa, and fighting half dozen ceasefire truces been declared, systematically broken. So let's have a summary covering the front page. US deports Indian, Trump tightens immigration rules, voting for 70 all set in Delhi. How the bigger Thai neighbors policies can make global trade to stand still. Third one is about the China hits back US with goods tariff, global investigations, and the bird eye view. Fourth one is the government Tamil Nadu tussle in the spirit of constitution. Fifth one is about the Gujarat government forms a panel assess to need for UCC. Sixth one is covering the editorials. US WHO exit a chance to reshape a global health. Seven is about the some wins behind the sale of India's shipping industry. And last one is about the Rwanda-backed M23 rebels announced truce in Congo East. Map questions can be asked about Rwanda location and Congo East. All African countries must locate. So that's for today, covering every important aspects with the editorial point of view and important news. So that's for today. Let's meet tomorrow with a new editorial. Till now, tell me in comment if you want any, if you have any suggestions, anything else. I will just try to improve in every aspects. Thank you for today. Good night.